everybody. I am so excited today because I think I have a new binding system and I'm kind of excited about it. Sorry, I've been working all morning, and my dilemma with these pages is I want them to lay absolutely flat on the bottom so that they are spread out with my waves properly and not getting all, And normally I use the Hidden Hinge Plus system that Kathy Orta came up with a long time ago now. But I know that if I do that, I'm going to have some of these falling down maybe sideways, or the middle one will lay over on the other one and they won't look even. And I really want them to be squared up and even. So I thought, squared up. So what we're going to need today is 4 pieces of 2 by 7.5. 7.5 being the length from this to this. Okay, and you need 2 inches. You need 4 of those. On the 2-inch side, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 3/4 inch, 1 1/2 inch. There's it written down right there. So pause it and put it down. Okay, so I'm going to do one with you. So I've got a 2-inch piece of paper. I'm going to score at the 1/2 inch, at the 3/4 inch, at the 1 1/4 inch, and at the 1 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open these bad boys up. We're going to get our, just something that you can poke through. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these pieces. I'm going to put our template on. And remember, it goes from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. I'm going to center this template in the middle of the 2 score lines. I'm going to take my pokey tool and poke my hole. I am then going to take our page and I'm going to open up the brads. I'm not going to let them fall out, hopefully. Just opening them up. Alright, I'm going to take a bit of glue. You don't have to use Fabri-Tac. This is just what I have open, so that's what we're using. So I'm going to put it around the sides of, but you don't want it to get up into the hole of the brad. Okay, so there is a little bit of glue, and I'm going to lay these with my grooves of my score lines up. And these just lay down in here perfectly. That is wonderful. And then I'm going to close these back up. So not only do we have it glued, we also have the brads on it. Okay, so now I'm going to just press those down. Sometimes taking it off, sorry, noisy, taking it off of the rubber at this point is best. Okay, so now we have this, right? You can fold them before, but I wanted you to make sure that you saw how I did it. And when the folds are folded, it gets a little fiddly. So now I am just going to fold the folds over. And just make sure that you're getting them nice and straight. Okay. Now the little 1/4 inch ones don't really matter if you get those burnished well, but the 1/2 inch one you do want to kind of burnish well. Just be careful that you're not crushing anything on your pages. You may have done different pages than I did. Okay, so now we have 2/4 inches on the sides and 2 1/2 inches to put together. And so when that sits down, it's going to be sitting hopefully relatively square, right? But when you open the pages, you will be able to flex these 2 sides that will give it a little bit of wiggle room, and maybe they will lay down flatter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down here on one of the flaps. And at this point, you're going to need like a chopstick, a flat chopstick, or a skewer, or I've got a metal file. But you're going to want to put the one under that you have the glue, and the other one that didn't get glued you put on top. So you actually made a tube on the bottom of your page. Pure and simple tube. Okay, now I don't know for sure how this is going to work because I'm trying it with you. In theory, this should be just fine. In theory. Now I do want to make sure that I don't go past my 1/2 inch. Alright. Now this is a metal file that probably doesn't have a whole lot of file left to it. Very, very old one. Alright. So you just want to keep making sure that you're staying at your 1/2 inch. You don't want to break out of that 1/2 inch at all. Okay, once that dries, we'll start playing with it. And if this doesn't work, we'll go back to the drawing board. So there's that. Okay. I'm going to keep doing these, but I am going to go ahead and fold. Let's see, I think I'm going to do them this way. Make your mountains into valleys, however you remember. Need to do this on the harder surface. So yeah, we're going to fold up our folds first and get a good burnish on them. Because some of my pages, you know, I don't want to take the chance of smushing stuff. So there's that one, and then this last one. So I'm going to do this one with you, and then I will get off camera so that this video is not super long, but we can see how we're ending up. Okay, so I'm going to, again, I'm just using, I'm so excited to be able to use this Fabri-Tac. I just said it just needs a little acetone. Not acetate, acetone. And it does tell you right on the bottle, if it gets thicker, put a little acetone in it. And all I had was colored acetone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to color my glue. Well, I don't see, because you don't use much. You just use a little bit. So if there is some color on there, oh, look at me. Take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. There we go. All right. I'm such a dork sometimes. Okay, top to bottom, center. Really take your time with this. You want it to line up nice and neat. Pokey tool. Boom. 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 All right. Open this up. You guys are probably yelling at me. This is so new. I'm just making the tubes. Just having a good time making the tubes. Okay. And then we're going to, I don't remember, I think this was the top. We'll find out if it doesn't line up perfectly. And, nope, other way. Oh yeah, that's the way. And there we go. Okay, I didn't put any glue on this time. Oh, for heaven's sakes. It's brand spanking new. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just so excited to be thinking about this. And of course, then I get glue on my cardstock. That's not good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down. And I'm going to pick this up. Okay, drop and drop. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to close these down. This is sticking a little bit. Okay, now take it off and push them closed. Okay, now we're going to reapply our glue. And let's make our box. Okay. Let's put our little thin sliding thing in there. Right now, my new favorite tool. All right, so there's number 2. So guys, I am going to go ahead and finish the other 2. Try and get that little bit off of there. I am going to go ahead and finish number 2. I mean, the other 2, not number 2. And then we'll be back and we'll see how we're doing. What we're doing, okay? All right. Back in a flash for you. Then we'll cut our chipboard, and we won't really know how this is going to work till we glue these down onto our chipboard spine. Then we'll really be able to see what kind of movement we're going to get out of them. Okay, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Okay, back in a sec. Lickety split, I'm back. All right, so I have figured out how you can get the cover and spine in one 12 by 12. So if you have a 12 by 12, this is going to be super easy. You're going to measure over 7 3/4 and cut. So then you'll have this second piece, you'll need it. And then you're going to measure over 3 1/4 and cut, and then the rest is the back, and the 3 1/4 by 7 3/4 is your front. Okay, so that'll be your front and back covers right there. And then you're going to cut a spine of 3 1/4 by 7 3/4. And here, if I wrote it on a little piece of Keon's paper, so I hope you can read that. But pause and write that down. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and then I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I took two 8 1/2 by 11 pieces of paper and put them together on the 8 1/2 side. I had a little smudge on this one, so I decided to use that one especially. And then I have my 3 pieces of my cover. So, I want to make sure that the piece that I have put together is not going to be in a fold. And so I am going to start with my little pieces. And the front and the spine are interchangeable. They're exactly the same size. So when you put them together, you should, and if you don't, take our new favorite tool and, you know, just, if it's every little bit you do to get things to be exactly the same size is going to make your book go together quick, better, and look better. Okay, so, you know, a little filing time never hurt anybody. I got to do it on my nails. I do more on my books than I do on my nails. Okay, so I'm going to start with the front. Now, I think that having, it's about 3/8 of an inch in the front, and top and the bottom. It's not ideal, but it's doable. So, but I am going to leave a nice smidge there. So I'm going to go ahead, because this is really good cardstock. I'm going to use my glue all. Somebody had asked me what glue all was, and it's an Elmer's product. Elmer's school glue is not exactly the same as the glue all. The glue all, I think, has less moisture in it, but it still will warp your paper. And it dries a little quicker than the school glue does. Whoops, I just glued my shirt. That's why I don't wear good clothes when I craft. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And I'm going to use my grid. I always say, you know, it's good to have one of these, especially if you do straight like I do. And then I'm just going to, the only thing with the glue all is it will move for a little while. So you have to kind of watch when you're pressing your glue that you're not allowing your piece to move. Okay, so there was my front. But this is thick enough. This is Stamping Up. No. This is, was it Recollections, I think. It's 65-pound weight. And it can take it. You know, it can certainly take it. Now, I'm going to want to stay. Oh, that moved a little bit. See, now it's dry. It won't move anymore. Where school glue, you'd still be able to move it. It's just, oh no, it was just my paper moved. I'm still doing well. I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch in between the two pieces, making sure I'm even top and bottom. Slide it up a little bit. Yeah, you just got to make sure that you're not moving it while you're trying to spread that glue. Now you can flip it over. And I am putting some pressure with my hand so that I'm not allowing it, hopefully, not allowing it to move. But let me bring it back and double check. It is still even top and bottom, and it's still on the 1/4 inch all the way across. So we're good. We are good. All right, I do have a little bit gooping out in places, but that doesn't bother me too much. And you see now this seam is going to be on the back, which is to me much better. And it's not going to be anywhere where, you know, it might split open, because if you get it into the folded areas, it could split on you. All right. And one of the reasons I use glue all for this is it's less expensive, one, and it doesn't dry as quickly. As you can see, it dried fairly quickly, but it doesn't dry as quickly as your art glitter glue or even your Fabri-Tac. Okay, so let me make sure that I'm going to stick with my 1/4 inch here. Oh, ha! I'm like, why isn't this lining up? Yeah, baby. Oh my goodness, that was from, what was his name? I can't even remember. I loved those movies when they came out. Now I don't think I could stand watching them, but when they came out. Something Powers. I can't remember. But Shagadelic and, oh my gosh. I can't. Austin Powers. That's it, isn't it? I think so. You guys will have to let me know. Yeah. I loved the movie. Both. I think there were 3 of them. Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't think I would watch them now, but, and I don't know why I say that, but, okay, and then I'm probably just going to cut off about this far, and I'm just going to give myself a little pencil line. Yeah. See, I don't think this will mind the job. There we go. Okay. And if that's too much paper for you, you can cut it down to the 1 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever you feel like doing. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do this one more time on it, because I didn't do it. You want that glue, but you know, it's going to be glued in so many areas at this point. Okay, let's make sure. Yeah, we look good. Looking good. Okay, so I'm going to start working my paper a little bit. You don't want to do this until you know it's dry. I find this easier with thicker paper to do it this way. And you just want to be careful that you don't flop these. But see, it's thick enough paper that it doesn't even flop those. But if you go and do it fast, it will flop them. All right. Now, oh, we got a little visit. Hi. Hi, honey. Come here. Come here. Come on. You going to say hi to everybody? There. Say hi. This is Hooch. Yes, thank you for the visit. My husband's getting ready to go to bed. So he's trying to figure out who's doing what. All right. I'm leaving myself a good portion of this to cover my corners. I'd rather have to snip it later than not leave enough. Okay, so there's those. just keep working it until you feel comfortable that you've got it in a nice way. To save time, I think, here it is, I'm just going to put some tape down because of the width of this. I would have to really hold it for a minute. Okay, there's that. Let me flatten this out a little better. It's a little more easy, and I see I got a little bit more on this side than I did on the other. Oh, well, you're sticking there. Oh yeah, it's on. And we can put them on the ends here as well. Just trying to make sure I keep everything in frame. I noticed when I did some of my miniature stuff that I wasn't in frame, and I am so sorry. When I did the Christmas in July miniatures. Alright, so then we're going to put on the edge of each piece. You don't have to do it on the outside, but you do have to do it where you're folding and making the transition between the spine and the front and back covers. Yeah, because this is where you're not going to get the bubbling of your paper and stuff like that. Okay, so now I don't use the glue all for anything else. Just getting these suckers down. And now I'm on to my art glitter glue. But you can use whatever glue you want. I'm going to put it along the edge of each one of the chipboard pieces. And I did not burnish anything down, so let's not get in the glue. And go ahead and burnish all of this down. And yeah, I let that glue sit so it gets tacky. It just works better. Okay, so now I'm going to take this one off. I'm loving this little tool. I've had it for ages, but I just always kept it with my Cricut, which I never use. Okay, now the other thing that you want to do is pull up the edges and fold them. So you don't want to take it all off and get dirt and stuff on it. You just want to pull up the edges, and this is where you really want to make sure that your hands are clean. And I like to work the paper a little bit before I really get it stuck down into my little valleys there. And then just pull that around and burnish down well. Okay, and we can even push down on our sides a little bit. Okay, and then just bring those back. So I'm going to flip this up. And before that glue dries, I'm carefully scraping. It is better to not scrape against where you have connected the two papers. So you always want to make sure you're coming off of the edge instead of scraping into the next page. And that way we get a nice squared off edge. If you don't like the squared off edge, then don't do that. That's another reason I put the glue at the on the edge of the chipboard. It helps keep that paper glued down to that chipboard to make the nice edge. All right, take this one off. Come on. And then we're just going to lift again these up. Most of the time, if you can't get the paper backing off of the score tape, it's because it needs to be burnished down better. But there are just some times that it doesn't matter what you do. It just doesn't matter what you do. But usually the better you burnish, the better it is to come off. Okay, so before I stick it all the way down, I'm carefully working in those gusseted areas. And then just pull that paper from the edge of the book and burnish. Again, try not to hit that, which I just did. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Being very careful, gentle, until you see how much of this your paper can take. This is pretty hardy paper, so, and be careful around your gussets because you can dent them in if you do them too much. Excuse me. And then just poke those back. And now we're going to work on our corners, and I like to put a little bit of glue into my corners because when I pull this paper around, I actually want to glue it. And that way your corners are not going to work their way out on your book after you've finished it. If you've ever had your corners kind of be exposed, it would be better if you glued them. So that's what I do. And then I'm just going to kind of check and see. You can, this is like a dry run. You can see how pretty or not that the corners are. So then I put glue on top of the paper that I just folded over when I do this step. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off the cover of the tape. Whoops! There went my... And then I'm just going to fill this in. Alright, I need my... Push that down just a little bit more. I needed a little help. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of touch it with that. You don't want to let this get dirty. And then we're just going to start folding it over. And that's got a little piece of tape hanging over. And if you get the glue coming out of the ends, that's good. That means you've got it glued down. And then you can push on those so it kind of makes that bulk go away so they're not overly bulky looking. And then again, I'm just going to do that. Okay, in the corners. Let's test run. Okay, I like it. Put some glue on top, along the side, and on top. Take the cover off of your score tape. And just a little bit to help everything else. Very good. I'm still not allowing these to fold. So I'm holding it up to do this and still not wanting these to fold. All right. So let's see, is that going to be? No. All right, so now, what do I want to cover the inside? Do I want, I don't think I want the blue. Now, even though the journal is standing up this way, it's still going to flip this way. So it'll be standing up like this in my book, in my display box. But I'm still going to have the pages folding out just like you would normally do. I had originally thought, which you could do if you wanted to, that it would fold this way and that you could put your pictures in and all of that. However you want to do it. But I am going to make it just like a normal book would be this direction. Oh, excuse me. I don't want to use this up. I was going to... Boy, that got cut straight, didn't it? I don't know. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. What do I have that I could use on the inside that is going to look fantastical? What do I have? Oh, I don't like that. And I'm using, well, that is cute. But I wouldn't have enough, and I don't think I have another one of these, but I might. Okay, I'm going to figure this out, and I'll be back in a second.